This thing is the absolute definition of a clap box.
We were just yelling in the school parking lot.
Hey, Terran.
Hey, Dale. Hey guys, welcome to Clapbox Garage. Today, you might realize that no one's with me. That's because we're doing a review, rides. Today, we have a new car to the channel. It's actually my car. It is a 1990 Cadillac Seville. This thing is an absolute panty dropper. It's a 4.5 liter V8. It's front wheel drive. Just put 5% tint on the whole thing. It's all red interior. Low miles, only 81,000. But this thing has some giddy up and go. I recently just picked up this car. It's an absolute steal, only $2,000. Runs beautiful. Little pull there. And of course, I slapped a ton of stickers on it. This thing rides like a dream. It's got a hood ornament. And a lot of fancy things. Everything's electric. It's got a real nice, classy exhaust leak. Lets this thing roar. This thing is the absolute definition of a clap box. The paint is barely there. It's almost non-existent. I guess paint's there, the clear coat isn't. And the paint is in such rough shape. We'll do a little pull here. I didn't go past the speed limit. This thing's an absolute steal. It has a few things that I have done to it. Like I said earlier, a 5% tint. There's also floor lights I recently just put in that are red to go with the red interior. It's all classy. Sometimes I like riding around with the interior lights on. It's pretty nice. There's also exterior lights that turn on during night. And that's how you know it's a classy car. This thing is mint. I mean, it rides amazing. Maybe according to the camera, it might be different, but from inside the car, compared to something like my Camaro, this thing rides insanely great, insanely good. This car is known as the Daddy Caddy. But eventually, you guys will be seeing a lot more updates with it. You guys didn't get to record most of the things I've done to it so far, like the tint, or the floor lights, or even just the stickers. But eventually you guys will see things like when we tint the windshield, when we get a new one. Things like slapping badges on it that probably shouldn't belong on this car, and maybe a new exhaust in the future. Anyways, this car is most certainly full of surprises. The thing is with these cars is that they are awesome just to cruise around in. This car absolutely, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like you're riding on a cloud and you're sitting on a couch. You can't even tell that you're sitting in the car. These chairs, these seats, front and back, feel like you're sitting in your living room on a recliner. It's hard to explain. This thing was way ahead of its time. It has a digital gauge cluster here, which is way different. This thing is only 7 years newer than my Camaro, and it's way ahead of it. It has power windows, power seats, power mirrors. There's little things here and there that this car has that the Camaro did not have factory. And it's insane how far ahead that a car like this, it was only 7 years, but since this was a luxury car, it's like GM tested everything they had the technology for on the Cadillacs. So this thing ended up being way ahead of its time, and just cruising around in it, just, it feels more modern than what the car actually is. Obviously it doesn't look modern, but the feel of it. Comparing things like power steering from my Camaro to this is two completely different things. The power steering in this feels like a modern car. It's not hard to move it at all. It's really floaty, and it's easy. So easy. It rides like a cloud. The suspension is insanely soft. It's a whole new everything. Even just having little things like the gauge cluster being a screen instead of actual gauges is pretty cool. I even have a driver information center underneath my radio here, and it tells me things like I need an oil change or the door's open. Also tells me the date, time, stuff like that. It's just way ahead of its time. It has buttons to open up the fuel door and the trunk, and it's kind of weird where they put them. It's in my glove box. The glove box is hidden itself, but in the glove box are the two buttons, one for my trunk and one for my fuel door. It's weird. It's like the weird stuff they put in this thing. You guys can't see it, but I have there's like this little cutout square here right behind my shifter, and you can rotate it and flip it to store your coins, or to turn it into a cup holder. Or if you don't want either of those, you can flip it back to the little square that has wood grain on it, so it blends in with the rest. I think that's a little weird. It's also kind of not very helpful. You only get one cup holder, so when you have multiple passengers in this thing, like I do almost all the time, it's not very helpful. But this thing did come with almost everything working. I say almost because the speakers in this thing are almost entirely blown. Two of them don't work. One of them works all the time, and one of them works half the time. The one that works half the time is the one that works the best, or at least the sound quality is the best out of that one. And that one that works the whole time is terrible. just so you guys know what I'm talking about here, I'll give you guys a quick test. Yep. The one you heard was only one speaker working. The other one decided not to work. So eventually you guys will see me replacing speakers in this thing, but as of right now, that's what I get to work with. Very rarely I'll use that. I'll rarely use my radio. I have a Bluetooth speaker that I keep in here. And I listen to music off that. But overall, this thing is an absolute joy to drive around. The ladies love it. The guys love it. And you'll love it. I'd recommend, if there's a Cadillac near you that's around the 90s, 2000s, 90s, around there, and it's cheap, I'd buy it. These things, I don't regret getting this at all. Like I said, this thing's way ahead of its time for the year it is. I think that's the best part about this thing. Is you get an old car look with a new car feel. I think that's the best way to wrap it up. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video.